Hi everyone, I'm really excited to film this video, but I hope there is not too much noise because Mason doesn't want to go to nap today and I'm trying to work around it, so he's still playing in his room for now, but who knows, he might want to join us at some point. So I'm super excited because I have over the weekend found some time to fill up the pens of this portable painter with my favorite colors, and here it is. It's all done and ready. So I let it set just for the night, and this is what they look like, and they're nicely set. Some of them are super glossy, as you can see, and some of them are a little matte. So these two bottom colors are matte, and these two as well, they're a bit matte, but these are smoother, and these actually sort of began to crack. As you can see, this one has a nice big crack there. I'm not sure if you can see right there. Yeah. What's interesting is that the last color, I picked all the colors, and the last color I was still deciding on was the red, and I will talk about it in a minute. But basically I realized after filling up this palette that 7 out of my 12 colors are actually from Daniel Smith, so it almost feels like I put together a Daniel Smith watercolor palette and just filling a few gaps with the colors that were absent in my Daniel Smith palette, which if you seen the previous video, I think this is where I mentioned it, but let me just pull it up again and show it to you. So here are the swatches. Ignore the gold because that's from Schminke. I have now also added the lemon yellow, which I haven't swatched, and I need to put it obviously on this board, but this is what it looks like. And as you can see, looking quickly at the swatches, there are a few colors missing here to have a nice wide range of colors that you can mix. But let's look at this palette. So basically, just quickly to say, so this is the Winsor Newton green, sub green, permanent sub green, and this is the Daniel Smith gold green, and you can see it has nothing to do with the fact that they're different brands or not. From the same brand you get really glossy colors, like for example these 4 are Daniel Smith, and they're super glossy compared to the Daniel Smith gold green. And also this color is actually Quinacridone pink, and it's also from Daniel Smith, but you can see they behave differently, so that's completely and totally normal and to be expected. So I will go through every single color and let you know what is in my palette, but for now I just wanted to share with you one more thing. So talking about the red, in the end, oh yes, so actually let me show you quickly this. So as you know, I have ordered 3 colors to finish the palette. By the way, there is this video here which you should watch if you haven't. This explains the majority of colors, why I picked them and how I picked them. So these were the 3 colors that I ordered on top to finalize those 12 colors. So the Daniel Smith lemon yellow is now included in the palette. Then I thought that I found the right red, which was the Quinacridone. It's the QoR Quinacridone red light. Now on the swatches and on the, I'll show you quickly. So on the swatches on the website and also on the tube itself, you can see this color, and this is the color that I was after. It's really not accurate at all. So this one is a very true Quinacridone red color, which is sort of has that pinky warm tone to it, like a raspberry, a warm toned raspberry color. Whereas on the here it looks very sort of scarlet red almost, and I thought this is the color I would get, but not, it's not. So I still like it as a color and I will use it for different purpose, but I mean, I'll show you here again. It's gorgeous. So this is on the paper, that's the palette that you just use and throw out, that paper, palette paper, whatever it's called. So that's that, and it And then for the third one, it's the sap green, which is actually not the color I was expecting. It's although it's warm toned and more of a neutral. By the way, on the camera, looking at it, it comes across a lot brighter. So maybe that's why as well. So on camera, it comes across exactly like what I was expecting, but in reality, it's more of a, it's leaning more towards olive green. So it's got that warmth and earthiness in the color, which I think a lot of you prefer in a sap green. So for example, Schminke sap green almost looks unnatural, whereas this is a very natural looking sap green. I wish it had a little bit more brightness in it, like one of those, possibly more this one, because it looks again Mijello sap green is a little bit too unnatural perhaps, although warmer than the Schminke. So while we're at it, if you are interested in these, are all the Schminke, same colors to match, and these are the White Nights, so lemon yellow, quinacridone red, sap green, and bunch of mix as well as the top one. So this is Sennelier lemon yellow, Sennelier quinacridone red, and as I said, Mijello. So this is just a little thing. And then here on the side, using these three colors, I just tried to see what a variety of colors I would get. This is just a very quick, you know, you can get so many more colors, but this was me mixing sap green and lemon yellow, and this is the quinacridone red light with lemon yellow. All of these colors are from this column, and then here I played a little bit with the quinacridone red and the sap green. And actually what was surprising to me, although I don't really like these two colors, I found these colors quite interesting. So it mutes down the quinacridone red light and makes it actually really nicely, kind of has this sort of velvety warm earthy tone to it, mixing with sap green. Very kind of pretty. I found you can find this color in a lot of flowers actually. So the final thing to mention is the red. So once I obviously saw this red, I realized that's not the red that I'm going to use, because I needed a true scarlet red. And so going back to these swatches, and I have a video on that as well, so have a look. I was in between two reds, so either the Daniel Smith Pyrrol red, actually it's called Pyrrol Scarlet, everywhere else before I was referring to it as Pyrrol red, so sorry about that. It's actually Pyrrol Scarlet. And then the other color is Mijello Permanent Red. Both of them gorgeous. Now the Daniel Smith is towards the warm and the Mijello is towards the cool. However, both of them are equally intense and gorgeous. And here in the middle, just to, if you're new to this video and channel, this is my favorite red ever, which is the White Night Scarlet Red, but it has quite low light fastness, so be aware of that. Whereas both of these are so the Daniel Smith is excellent, and so is top rated light fastness for the Mijello as well. Now so I kind of was thinking, what should I do, which color should I use, because you know, you get different tones. So anyway, so this is what I've done, kind of trying to figure out what color to pick. So here at the top are all colors, all yellow. So I used 3 of the yellows from the palette that I composed. So it would be the Daniel Smith Lemon Yellow, the Daniel Smith Indian Yellow, and Daniel Smith Quinacridone Gold, mixed with the Pyrrol Scarlet in this instance. And I would just basically gradually increase the yellow, going towards the right. And I have to say, these colors are just gorgeous. They're giving me beautiful oranges and very vibrant sort of yellows as well, sort of like a yellow orangey color. So not a true orange, but not a true yellow either. I mean, these colors are just absolutely stunning. And that was fantastic, because that is what I was missing in my you know, mixes right here, so I don't have any oranges included because I wanted to mix them, and that gives me a beautiful variety. And this bottom part here, I've used the exact same yellows, but this time I used the Mijello Permanent Red, so this color at the bottom here and this color top here, which is has given me more redder tones, and I kind of liked the darker tones over here better, but I liked the lighter tones over here better. And so I was in the middle, kind of trying to think, what is it that I need more of? Because, you know, do I use red very often? No. Do I use yellow very often? Yes, for sure, more often than red. So I kind of in the end picked the Daniel Smith. And one more thing I want to say about the Daniel Smith, it is a semi-transparent, and on the swatches you can see it's got that little bit of settling of the pigment on the line compared to the others, which are completely transparent. So Mijello was completely transparent, and although I wanted to have a transparent red, in the end I thought I will go with this one and compromise, but really in reality it does look lovely and transparent when mixing it with other colors, but possibly if I would paint a red flower without mixing this color at all, and I would need it to be at the most intensity, I would need to keep in mind that it has this sort of semi-transparent effect to it. But I have to say it would only be an issue if I used my platinum carboning extra fine fountain pen, because then the line wouldn't be as crisp. However, I still can see the paper through this, and so it's absolutely fine if you're not using a fine line that you want to be visible. So that was my basically decision making process. Smith tubes, so it was really good to go through them. There are a couple of Shinhan, is it Shinhan? No, that's the Holbein watercolors that I didn't get on with because they're super opaque, and there is one Schminke Gold. So I just find it really convenient to keep it in this little tin. I don't remember, unfortunately, where I have this tin from, but it's nice and deep, and it's easier, and it's not small, so I have a nice area to look at and sort of you know, scramble through the tubes to find the right one. And of course it had to be embellished with some cute cacti stickers. I don't remember if I showed you this tin before. If I did, then here is a reminder. Okay, so let's get on and start the swatches. So you might think, why is the portable painter looking slightly different to what I've seen it being advertised or on the websites to purchase? So that is because I've taken off the containers, because I'm at home, so I've got my water jar and I don't need them, but of course I could use them if I wanted to. And the other reason is I wanted to show it to you in this state is because it's super small and super cute, and I can just use it. I've got my ink on there. I can just use it as it is. I don't have to necessarily take it outside, although it was designed for that, but you can totally use it indoors as well because it's super small. You know, I've got all of my 12 colors that I will be able to mix a wide range of colors, and it takes so little space. So if you have a really small desk or really small space to paint on, make sure you pick the right colors that will give you a very wide range of mixing values. So let's crack on. So this palette comes with a cute brush that is double-sided, so inside it there is another brush, but I'm not going to use it today. I'm going to use my swatching brush, so it's this one. And I'm just going to swatch out the colors to begin with. There is something super satisfying about working with a small palette. It's like downsizing, you know, when you get into watercolors and you want bigger palettes, more watercolors, and then suddenly you just downsize to 12 colors and you know, try to work with it, because in reality you can mix pretty much everything you need with those 12 colors. So just trying to get the palette into the frame. I hope you can see. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to do the swatches on the top. What I love about Daniel Smith, and I have mentioned that I haven't used it in a while, but having composed this palette actually was really great, because it reminded me how beautiful Daniel Smith watercolors really are. And so the other thing I was going to say is that what I love about them is that they rewet so beautifully. They almost have that sort of schminke kind of feel to them when you're working with the schminke pans. They're super soft and beautiful, and I have absolutely no problem rewetting them, so they're great for creating your little pans. So I think that's a good size for the swatch. I'm just going to write out the names and come back. Okay, so here I have now written out all the names, so it's a bit easier to follow as well. Before I continue, I just wanted to show something with the palette. So what I really like about it, first of all, you when you open the palette and it lays completely flat, it sort of clicks into there, so it's not really wobbly as some of the palettes tend to be, especially the metal tins. They're quite wobbly, and I really like the sturdiness of this palette. I mean, the quality is fantastic. So what I did once I filled the pans, I kind of tipped it like this, and I left it a little bit open so the air would go in to dry the palettes, but the dust wouldn't go in because it was protected like that, and you can see the air goes in from here. And the great thing about it is that it stays like that because it's designed to have control. So basically you can open it at any point and it just will stay like that. It won't be floppy, that's what I'm trying to say. So it's great design of this palette. So I'm going to return it back to its spot so you can see it. And Mason is still playing in his room. He's being a good boy. He's not coming out yet, but I suspect any minute now. So then I have the Indian yellow. So the paint is still not fully dry, but it's nice and set. It's quite interesting how, you know, looking through my palette and my swatch book, I realized that Daniel Smith had the right colors for me. Okay, so here are the swatches. I could do it right in time, so it's a beautiful rainbow. What I will do next is just swatch out the mixes of the colors.